So whenever you do data collection, there's always a chance that you're going to get some outliers. But how do you know what is an outlier? So we have to consider identification of them. We have to think about what you're going to do with them in terms of cleaning them up. And also think about how SPSS can help you do that. The best way of identifying outliers is to consider the normal distribution. So the normal distribution was originally devised by Gauss in order to interpret the errors that he was finding in looking at astronomical measurements. So he was finding that from day to day, the stars weren't exactly where he expected them to be. There was a bit of variation. So you had lots of small variations, but you only had a few really large errors. And so he drew something, a symmetrical curve, because they were both common errors to the left and right and to up and down. So he drew something that was symmetrical, which rapidly decreased as you got further from the centre. Later, Fisher, who is one of the founders of modern statistics, said that if you had any data point that's more than 2 standard deviations away from the mean, it's really unusual. So what this means is, within the normal distribution, which you can see here, the bell curve, is sitting in those white regions at the edge, which are more than, in this case, 1.96 standard deviations from the mean. They're in a region which marks 2.5% at either end. So this is 5% strangest values, the 5% of data that is furthest away from the mean value. These are likely to be outliers. Now, missing data can occur because of poor design, problems with your measuring equipment and experimental failure, mistakes in recording the data. Quite simply, you've smudged one figure into another or just recorded the wrong number. So you have to decide whether it's an outlier because it's lying outside the normal, or it's a genuine difference. Now, SPSS is really good because it allows you to build in these missing pieces of data or these outliers and retain them for the future. You don't have to remove them. You just have to mark them. Now, in standard software, you write NA. In SPSS, if it's a numerical thing, then you have to put some numerical value that doesn't fit within what you're specifying. So if it was to do with heights, 0 is good. Nobody ever has a height of 0. 999s are other good possibilities for putting in as missing values. However, 999 must not be a possibility within your data set. So for some things, 999 kilos for an elephant, that's a possibility. But it's not possible in age for a person. So it's important that you pick one and specify it in the software so that it does not get confused with any of the numbers within your data sets. -1 is a nice one if you're measuring something that always has to be a positive quantity.